Thank you for being here with us, David. David is a former legal specialist from the nutrition section of UNICEF. For over 25 years, he has supported countries to implement the code, going around the world advocating for the code to people in governments and a variety of key actors and advocates committed to protecting breastfeeding. He has also run and participated in countless capacity building workshops for lawyers, breastfeeding advocates, and has supported governments in drafting regulations and guided them through the often treacherous legislative process. So my first question for you, David, is specifically on monitoring. When it comes to holding companies accountable, it has been said that the quality of monitoring trumps quantity. A very seasoned code advocates used to say, and you might know that person, finding one violation is the same as finding 100 or 1,000. With artificial intelligence comes the possibilities of detecting and collecting large amount of violations within a very short time span. In your view, how can this technology and newer method of monitoring be applied meaningfully?
Well, thanks very much, Constance. That's a great question. I mean, it is true, if you find one violation, it's usually part of a whole marketing strategy. So you can be sure that that one violation is being replicated all over a country or a region or whatever. But it's also true that we often like to get an idea of the prevalence of violations. And this is very useful. You're saying, how can we use this? It's very useful for us in our advocacy when we need to prove to a government or we need to prove to health workers or a professional association that something needs to be done. We need to have the evidence of what the companies are up to. So if we can show the prevalence that this is going on all over the place, that it's really targeting certain parts of the population, mothers or health professionals or whatever, and that it is having a negative impact on breastfeeding, that's really important. And I think this whole idea of this project you're working on with the artificial intelligence that is able to track the promotion that up until now really goes unnoticed. We're not able to get a handle on the scale of it because it is so targeted at specific people. I mean, we all know ourselves. I don't know, you're working on something. I need to Google something about an infant formula company or something. By the time I go back to my computer, I'm getting advertisements for infant formula. So if we can find a way to capture that, to capture the extent of it, how pervasive it is, I think that's going to be really, really important because it will help us in making the argument as to why we really need to clamp down on that. Not just the World Health Assembly, but I think many of us working in the public health arena are really concerned about the proliferation of digital marketing techniques for all sorts of harmful products, but particularly in the way it is being used to push breast milk substitutes and promote baby foods in really the most inappropriate ways. I'm really interested to know how you have found that these marketing devices are particularly effective and therefore so harmful to women, to babies.
First of all, structurally, there is an absence of enforcement. In the virtual digital space, it is difficult to define national borders sometimes. So it makes enforcement that is already lagging in many countries even more difficult. And on the digital platforms, actions and reactions such as liking, sharing, posting can grow exponentially really fast and relatively effortless because of the virtual infrastructure, namely the algorithms. So these pathways are set up to be extremely effective. Also, data mining technology is used. So structurally, digital marketing not only optimizes the marketing capacity, but also the acuity. Our every single move and action on the internet is tracked and analyzed. What kind of sites we go to, what kind of products we buy or look at, our own socioeconomic status, our spending power, who we talk to, who we follow on social media, what we look up on the internet, or even who we look up to or aspire to become. the kind of lifestyle that we dream of. So this marketing data helps maximize the chance of us not just buying certain products, but also changing our behavior and our way of life through exposing us or literally engulfing us in an environment that is designed to make as much money off of us as possible. And new parents or parents-to-be are one of the most vulnerable groups. And apart from this structure, content-wise, I've also identified 3 main themes. So the first one is aspiration and approximation. Companies are selling a kind of lifestyle or dream that we aspire to living. Marketing is more lifestyle focused. If we can think about, Nike, Apple, Nespresso, often they use celebrities that portray a certain kind of lifestyle that we aspire to live. And therefore, we see that a lot of the marketing of breast milk substitutes, formula products, use celebrities to endorse these products, or celebrities will be saying that they're using these products with their own babies. This is where the psychology of approximation comes in. If I can spend the money to buy what you have or what you use, then I can almost become you or have a piece of your life, or actually become you because you use this product and I can afford to buy this product. And a lot of times in this kind of marketing campaigns, they portray mothers or pregnant women to be modern, cool, collected, calm, healthy, just basically selling a better version of who we want to be or who we are. And the second one is fear and inadequacy. So marketing that targets to compensate our fear, to sell solutions. Nowadays, many mothers know that breastfeeding is best, and that's something that the industry capitalizes on as well, which I will talk about later. But then there may be still challenges in reconciling the contradicting messages that we have been fed for decades, such as breastfeeding is inherently challenging and difficult. The mother may not have enough milk for the baby. Mothers are always worried that I may not have enough milk. I may not produce enough milk or know how to breastfeed. So this feeling of inadequacy is really exploited. And you see that in the marketing where products are boasting with, properties found in breast milk. They're saying that they're producing products that have properties similar to breast milk, perform similar functions as breast milk. So, mothers who are already feeling inadequate may think that if I can't breastfeed or provide breast milk, I can at least give something that is close to breast milk.
I'm pretty sure they've been doing it in print ads for years, but actually suggesting that their product is superior, that it will make their child more intelligent, that it will make their child have better eyesight, or less allergies, and all these kinds of things. I think sometimes they're even suggesting that this product is better.
Yeah, so I think they tackle both angles. So they do sell their products as more superior in all these scientific health claims, but at the same time, they also pay lip service to breastfeeding. So they have no qualms about saying that breastfeeding is best. And then at the same time, they will say that their products are just like breast milk. So when they're saying that breastfeeding is best, is optimal, they're also saying that their products are just like that. A very interesting example that I've noticed when I was in Hong Kong just for the past few weeks, a big thing now in Hong Kong is products that are targeting mothers who have had C-section births. So they're putting out messages saying that C-section birth actually affects the child's long-term health. And then they're using the products to address that concern. And we know that C-section births are still the preferred and the more common method of delivery in Hong Kong. That has to do with the systemic factors. So the marketing is also tailoring that group as well. Then you have also brought us to the third theme that I've noticed, which is the so-called science and truth. Companies are using science or so-called science to reassure the fear and inadequacy. So the science and truth theme and the fear and inadequacy themes are kind of interlinked and feed off of each other. Just like you said, claims on brain development, intelligence, colic, products that can address colic when babies are crying. We all know that babies just cry, and that's just what they do. But companies portraying that as a problem. to instill fear in parents, making them think that, well, maybe when my baby cries, there's a problem. Also, the properties I cannot, pronounce and name, the DHA, ARA, I don't even attempt to say their full names, the probiotics, prebiotics. So all these things are unsubstantiated, but companies are using these things to make them scientific and claim as the truth.
And that one, Constance, is something that the World Health Assembly has been against for years. There should never be any of those health or nutrition claims on baby milks or even foods for infants and young children. That's what the top public health recommendation is. And yet the companies are still doing it and trying to get away with it.
Yep, and it's actually very rampant on the digital platforms as well. And a lot of times these claims are also linked to further counseling services, chat rooms that we can, offer more information on these health and nutrition claims.